The bookkeeper handles the day-to-day financials of a smaller business. They're typically involved with creating invoices, paying bills, and balancing the bank statements. Often, they'll hand off the more complex tasks such as payroll, depreciation, and actually creating financial reports to an external accountant. Again, this varies by the size of an organization. If you are presenting a solution to the bookkeeper, you should keep in mind to be focused on some of the core responsibilities such as creating invoices, paying bills on time, balancing the bank statements, and creating financial statements. In this demo scenario, we will enter in a purchase order manually. We'll then show how to automate the purchase entry. We'll review the vendor balance and then pay the vendor. So let's manually enter a purchase invoice. Using Microsoft Outlook, the seamless experience between our accounting system, Dynamics 365 for Financials, and our productivity suite, such as Outlook, I can process a purchase invoice very quickly and easily. Here you see we have an invoice, a purchase invoice from a vendor, Wide World Reporters. By selecting the contact insights in the ribbon, you'll see that it recognizes the vendor is set up in our system with current statistics such as balance and outstanding invoices. And the direct relationship is on display. It enables users to quickly see details regarding the vendor without ever leaving in Outlook. We'll go ahead and hit New. Since the company is set up as a vendor in Dynamics 365 for Financials, only relevant tasks display. In other words, you don't see sales quote, sales order, sales invoice, just purchase invoice and purchase credit memo. We'll enter in the vendor's required invoice number. We'll tab off that field, enter in the line items of Amsterdam lamp along with the units. We'll highlight the second row. Enter in the swivel chairs. I'll tab off, enter in the quantity, and after completing the line items, I want to go ahead and post that. So I'll select the ellipsis on the top right, and I'll post that. I'll select yes, and it's as simple as that. Now, working directly with attachments to the associated email, many times you'll receive an invoice or a receipt for goods from a vendor in your inbox. In this scenario, we'll send the attachment to an incoming document list and let Dynamics 365 for Financials automate this process. Here we see the same invoice from the vendor. In fact, we'll double-click to open up the attachment. We see the vendor invoice, and so we can close that out. We see it's from Wide World Importers. So let's begin the process. So we'll select on in the ribbon the contact insights. Now, because it recognizes the document, you'll see that my options exist as, do I want to send this to incoming documents, which enables me to take advantage of some workflow and approval capabilities, or conversely, I could just send this directly to an outside OCR service. We'll go ahead and send that directly to the incoming documents. Click OK. And that process for approval has now been sent to Dynamics 365 for Financials, where approvers can review the data before processing the document. We've minimized Outlook. Now on the role-based homepage, you'll see I'm logged in as the accountant or as the bookkeeper. And there is a number of different tiles on display, one of which is in the second row. You see here, received from my OCR or incoming documents. There's the document. We can open that up for review. You'll see the PDF displays as the main attachment. And over in the ribbon on the far right, you'll see I'll send that over to OCR service. I'll hit enter, OK. Let all the magic happen in the cloud and be able to process that. Now, I think it's done, so we'll go ahead and receive that file. You'll notice the OCR status is sent and released. We'll go ahead and receive that. As it has been received successfully, I'll hit OK. Notice the status has changed from a success on the OCR status field, as well as the status has been created. In fact, we can link out to that record and you see the invoice details. If all the information is correct, the bookkeeper or the accountant can now post that invoice. We'll click yes, and we're done with automating that process. Next, let's review the vendor balance. So I'll come over to as part of the responsibility of the bookkeeper, right, it's essential to understand the customer's balance with each vendor. This ensures some of the timely payments and also maintain the customer's or company's standing relationship with vendors. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see that a shortcut lists for vendors. I've got Wide World Importers already highlighted. I'll click on that. And I get a number of different contextual information, but let's drill into the balance for this vendor. We drill into that balance, and here you see that invoice that we just processed is already waiting for attention. Right? In addition to past purchase invoices, we need to pay the vendor. So let's go ahead and take action. The recent purchase invoice for Wide World Importers needs to be paid. That accountant or the bookkeeper enters the transaction accordingly. Now over in the navigation pane, we'll select the arrow just to the left or to the right of home, and there are additional menu options available. These are based on the role and the rights within the organization. Let's go ahead and select Journals, and we'll open up the Payment Registration Journal, or Payment Reg Journal, excuse me. In the Payment Journal window, you can use the Suggest Vendor Payment Batch job to suggest payment lines for payments that are due soon, or payments where a payment discount is available. Let's go ahead and select the suggested payments. Right. From this view, the bookkeeper can select payment to vendors. Once the documents are selected, the payments can be processed, and those actions are available in the ribbon above. So as you saw, a couple of different processes of entering a manual purchase invoice, automating that process, reviewing the vendor balance, and also paying vendors. The goal of this scenario was to demonstrate how a bookkeeper can benefit from Dynamics 365 for financials. The results can help you reduce the learning of a new system, reduce time and data entry, and help improve data accuracy and control.